Okay, that lineup is starting to look a little bit more like an NHL lineup, at least at the top of it. Avs win over the Dallas Stars 4-3 in overtime. Look, it's still preseason. These lineups still don't match up all that well. Take everything with a grain of salt, as always. With that being said, it's hard not to like how some of these guys like Jonathan Drouin and Riley Tufte looked for Colorado in this game. Tufte with a clear little extra chip on his shoulder, with Dallas being his former team where he never really got that opportunity as a first-round pick. He gets the Avs on the board early. It's a rimmed puck, and Tufte is going to get in on the wall and create enough chaos to at least buy enough time for Olofsson to also get in and help support. Eventually, because of this, the Avs are going to win the puck and have offensive zone control. It gets worked out quickly to Amat, who has a lot of space to work with. Honestly, probably could have walked in even further here before making a decision, and he does use some of that space, and he makes the right decision. He recognizes Tufte has snuck in behind all of Dallas, is wide open, and a great deflection play gets set up and they get rewarded. You can see skills that will play in the NHL for Tufte, but it is a bit of a weird situation right now in Colorado because Tufte doesn't play center, and the Avs are full on the wing, at least to start this season. Of the 4 guys the Avs have that came over from Dallas, I think Tufte has looked the best and probably earned the most of maybe all of them in this preseason. But that ceiling is kind of capped as what is going to end up being first call-up or maybe a scratched forward in the NHL. I'm pretty convinced he will get NHL games this season once an injury happens to a winger. You will see him play for the Colorado Avalanche, but I just don't see how he cracks the lineup without an injury. And the regular season NHL is a very different beast than the preseason, so when he gets that opportunity, he's going to have to make the most of it. The Avs dominated most of the first period, really controlling play top to bottom. And you can see them tightening down the screws as more NHLers get into the lineup and things are getting streamlined. Avs only took 2 penalties this game after the large number of penalties they were taking in the first few preseason games. Given the lineups, this was a game the Avs were supposed to look good in, but they did. That isn't to say it was perfect, though. Early in the second, the Stars tie this game up. Malinsky's activating as a D-man here. That's good. You want to see him do that, but he makes a bad read and doesn't recognize his pass is getting picked off here. That's not as good, because now you have a defenseman deep in the zone. This is also a pretty bad read from Lehkonen, or maybe just a bad committal from higher out, as he ends up getting a little bit too deep and allowing Dallas a rush back up the ice that he's now all turned around and ultimately takes himself out of this play a little bit. It's not really a 2-on-1 because the Avs actually do a good job of hustling back and getting into defensive positions, but it does force Girard to kind of play this half and half. He can't just take the puck carrier because that's a clean lane to the net if he does, and that gives enough room for Kamano to get to the top of the circles. He pulls the trigger, and you don't love it from Georgiev. He gets beat clean. It's not a great goal, but it's one. I'm not going to complain about it on its own. And the Avs, drawing penalties, are able to get it back fairly quickly on the power play. Avs power play going to work. Pretty typical stuff, but look at how easy this is for McKinnon. After stick handling the sticks out of these guys, basically, he just puts the easiest big old sauce on this over to Taves you've ever seen, like he's not even trying, and it lands perfectly for Taves to just one-tap this right into the back of the net. Man, do NHL Stars make it look easy sometimes. The rest of the second period was kind of all over the place. The Avs probably had like 5 semi-breakaways, but they don't manage to score on any of them. Dallas does a much better job of possessing the puck throughout the period and getting their own opportunities. And despite both of those things, the Avs are still the team to score more goals in the period. Another power play opportunity late in the period gets converted. Avs' second power play unit, or whatever you want to call it tonight, Taves gets it up to Lehkonen on the far side, who gets the zone, and 2 things to look at here. 1, Tufte finding the soft space in the ice. As Dallas rotates over because the Avs are entering with 4, he recognizes he can come in on the backside of this play, and he makes sure to give himself a lane. He gets far enough ahead of the trailing defenseman that there is space here, and a great job by Lecky to recognize it and get the puck over to him. Now, the shot is good, but a save does get made. Still a good play from there, but it gets even better. Look, I'm not going to lie to you, this is rough defense from Dallas. You need somebody there ready to clear out a rebound. They aren't, and Olofsson is. He's able to step in and show some fantastic hand-eye coordination to knock this out of mid-air for the goal. If I had to choose today, I think it's Frederick Olofsson that takes that 4C job over Ben Meyers. He's just been the better player this preseason for Colorado. It's nothing against Ben. I don't think he's been bad. I just think Olofsson has been better. And I think I should be clear. Earning the job on opening night does not mean he just has it for the rest of the season. He still has to go out there and play well to keep hold of that job. That competition continues going forward. So the Avs are up 3-1 in the third period. You know this story. I say it all the time. If you're up 2 goals in the third period, you should win the game. And the Avs do let Dallas tie this up, but this does deserve some context. They're down to the last 5 minutes of the game, and they're still up 2. And Jared Bednar stops playing the top line. He stops playing McKinnon. He stops playing Rantanen. He stops playing Drouin. He stops playing Lehkonen. He gave a lot of the guys battling for roster spots the opportunity to close this game out. And they, as a group, failed that test. Hilariously, one of the guys who is a lock for a roster spot started this ball rolling downhill. Logan O'Connor recovering a puck at his own blue line, and this goes about as bad as you possibly could. He's struggling to hold on to the puck. He's looking for help. He tries to dish it off. Oh, that's right, to a Dallas Star player in the slot. That's bad. Nothing good about that. The initial save gets made by Georgiev, and chaos continues to ensue as O'Connor turns it over for a second time. It's just getting worse for him on this shift. This puck is eventually going to get controlled by Dallas, and a shot is going to come through that Georgiev is just not going to know what happened to it. He makes the stop. It's directly below his pads. He can't see it. He can't find it. And this is just nonsense from here. Pinballing puck eventually comes out Dallas's way. That stick right there is going to bash this into a net. A situation they never should have been in. A little bit tough. Hoo boy, is there a whole lot of things not to like on that play, and I, for my own sanity, am going to chalk all of it up to preseason and move on. So not great, but that should be fine, right? The Avs should still be able to close this out. Oh, Dallas pulls the goalie, and the Avs allow them to tie the game. Goalie pulled, 35 seconds left. Avs just trying to survive here, but they end up chasing the play just a little bit. It's really not that bad. This is a shot from outside the circles. It shouldn't be something that's all that dangerous, but still, you give up a shot and bad things can happen, as this one does beat Georgiev clean too. That's 3 goals against. Pick whichever one you want. You have to ask Georgiev to stop one of those. I think that's fair. So a game that should not have gone to overtime does end up in overtime. And you know what? Fine. I don't really want to watch preseason overtime most of the time, but we got into this one, and this overtime was a blast. Wild up and down hockey, breaks both directions. It felt like the old days of 3-on-3 when it first started, and teams had no idea what they were doing. They were just winging it. And that's super duper fun. You get through almost all of it before the Avs are just the better team that make the better play. Time winding down in OT, Olausson is going back and collecting his puck, and this is a good job here. He's under heavy pressure and is able to control the puck, create space, and get a lane open to create a 2-on-2 up the ice for Colorado. This is Drouin carrying through the neutral zone. He doesn't do anything crazy here, but he keeps it in the middle of the ice. Look at how he's made both players close down on him on this play, and as he drops the puck and drives through, they both have to respect him coming through. And look at all of that space he's created for Olausson by doing that. It's very simple, very basic stuff, but incredibly well executed by Drouin. This allows Olausson to do what he does best and win the game. Olausson is what he is right now, and that is a player who I don't think is ready for the NHL, but I think his path to the NHL is becoming more and more clear. The shot is obviously there. The offensive ability is obviously there. He's got to get better at protecting the puck, and he's got to figure out the defensive end a bit more, and then you could see him down the line, maybe even this season. I kind of doubt it, depending on injuries, but I think next year could be the year where Olausson needs to take that next step. The other side of this is Jonathan Drouin creating this play wonderfully. With what he's had to work with, Drouin has fit in pretty darn well so far in Colorado. We'll see how that fit continues once things start to matter, but there's a lot to like there. Honestly, I think the Avs have given everyone a lot of confidence in their forward depth this year with what we've seen so far through preseason. Even without putting all of their NHL guys together, they're still putting out lineups that can be close to NHL caliber. Guys like Tufte and Olausson getting into games and not looking out of place. Guys like Olofsson and Myers pushing each other for final roster spots. Compared to a season where, yes, there were a ton of injuries, but even before that, the Avs forward core was a little bit short on depth, Just doesn't look like that's going to be a problem this year. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. There's only 2 preseason games left, so follow us at thednvr.com and get ready for the season. I am Rudo, and I think we're finally going to start to seeing close to real NHL lineups with these last 2 games.